Please be seated. My speech is not short, it's not also long. The National Chairman of the Citizens First, in absentia, the Secretary General, Mr. Vincent Chintu here, members of the Central Committee here present, leaders and representatives who are here of our party, of various organs, members of the press. I've seen a lot of members of the press here. I've seen there's Prime TV here. I've seen Millennium. Rogers, I've seen you. I've seen who else is here? Diamond TV is here, together with Msanza TV. Should I simply say, all members of the press that have come, KBN and others, you are sincerely welcome to this press briefing. It's always good. KNC also is here. It's always good to see you here at the Orange House. We have called this press conference to discuss various party programs and also address some national issues. It is public knowledge that our country remains in deep crisis, with the citizens suffering the highest cost of living in decades, plagued by high domestic and foreign debt, large-scale acts of corruption against public resources, and legacy issues such as poverty, disease burden, unemployment, hunger, and poor infrastructure of major roads, especially trunk roads, such as Mpika Serenje, Katunda Lukulu Watopa Muveji Road, Solwezi Mwinilunga, Vubwi Chipata Roads, and many others. In the last couple of years, the nation has witnessed the worst level of abuse of public trust, resulting in poor quality of roads being constructed using a flawed PPP model that lacks accountability. While on the other hand, the nation was treated to a surprise revelation of a senior government minister being involved in the supply of drugs to the state. While this is happening, the nation will recall that a former defense minister was convicted for exactly the same reason. We are watching, and in fact we want to serve notice to all those abusing public resources that you shall soon be brought to book in August, yes, when we form government. Yes. Zambia is embattled, the nation in their need of leadership, and we are committing to doing just that when we form government after the August 13 pause. Ladies and gentlemen, among the things we would like to address in this press briefing include: 1. Death of Eniless Helen Kamutumbe. Before I even say anything on the death of Eniless, may I ask all of us to be upstanding and observe a minute of silence in honor of our departure to glory. Thank you very much. Last week, we witnessed an extremely sad development where a 46-year-old woman from Chingola was brutally and savagely beaten to death by a mob in Kalumbila on false allegations that she had made the private parts of a 25-year-old Prince in Tambo disappear. As shown by the viral video, the crowd showed evil joy, as if they were deriving pleasure in the stoning, beating, and malice at the misfortune that had befallen the woman. Thank you very much. The lack of sympathy and the act to prevent those that attempted to help and prevent the loss of life has shaken the nation to the extent of evil depravity that has engulfed certain communities. We saw similar acts of mob justice that were heinous and morally repugnant during the gassing incidents between 2019 and 2020, and also the death of Jackson Kungo in Solwezi in 2021. Fellow citizens, this is not who we are. We should not allow these acts to define us as Zambians. This utter lack of humanity and respect for life requires that we arrest this evil spirit that has potential to threaten the peace and security of our country. I call upon law enforcement agencies to act with haste and ensure that the due process of the law is followed. In the execution of professional duties and conduct, the police requires no presidential admonition or nudging to do their job. All they need to do is to show up. We would also like to call upon our social partners and moral guiders, such as the church, to pray and also conduct civic awareness about the sacredness of life and the dangers of spilling blood. 2. The electoral process and the August general elections. We have repeatedly expressed serious concerns that the path that government has taken as the country prepares to hold the general elections threatens the holding of democratic, transparent, credible, and free elections. We were alarmed at the manner both the NRC issuance and voter registration exercises were conducted. The discriminatory manner and insincerity in which the exercise was done amounted to voter suppression schemes that saw regions where the opposition was deemed strong suffered a myriad of problems, with machines not working, cameras and printers frequently breaking down, and generator sets having no fuel. Further, we have expressed concern at the composition of the personnel of the board and management of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. We have also raised alarm at the amendments done to the Republican Constitution through the infamous Bill 7, through a process that disregarded principles of constitutional making and public consultations. The outcome of this is that the electoral system has been altered fundamentally, and the National Assembly will be expanded from 165 members of parliament, that was 156 elected, plus the 8 nominated, and then there is the presidium of speakers, to 281 MPs. That will include new 70 constituencies and 40 arising from a proportional member system. The toll will be heavy on extremely limited public resources and will undermine public expenditure on social issues such as health, education, social security, and public infrastructure. We have also demonstrated that the proposed amendments contained in the Electoral Process Bill of 2026 has provisions that are designed to enable state interference and undermine the autonomy and independence of political parties. The bill also grants power to the Registrar of Societies to remove or exclude political parties or individuals. Now, this is tantamount to allowing those in power the authority to punish political opponents. Going by the recent activities we have seen involving the Registrar of Societies, where abuse has occurred, allowing such a law will lead to entrenching a single-party system which goes against the democracy we fought for as a nation. Zambia is a constitutional democracy, and we shall remain so, even after the UPND is defeated on 13th August 2026. Three, Human Rights Watch International World Report 2026. I extracted this quote. The human rights environment in Zambia in 2026 became increasingly hostile to perceived dissent and political opposition to the government ahead of the 2026 elections. End of quote. Now, this is a quote from the report that was released last week by the Human Rights Watch. This country report characterized Zambia as fast descending into an authoritarian state, increasingly hostile towards dissent and political opposition. The report disclosed that President Hakainde Hichilema's government restricted civic space, has weaponized the law enforcement agencies against political opponents and critics, has amended the constitution and passed oppressive legislations such as cyber laws that severely restrict rights or freedoms of citizens. The report expresses fears that Zambia may not be able to hold credible, democratic, transparent, free and fair elections under this hostile environment. Watutuma. If you have delivered, why would you want to make the environment so oppressive, so toxic? Only you should have rallies. Only you should meet structures. I think if you are in a competition, you should also allow your colleagues to go out and be heard. Yes. You can't be the only one dancing alone and we should be dancing and clapping for you. No. Chiveresh, Max. No. So this report, which was not written by ourselves here, is written by an international organization which has said here in Zambia, they don't think we'll have credible, democratic, transparent, free and fair elections because the environment is hostile. Our call to President Hakainde Hichilema is that he should immediately abandon this perilous path he is taking Zambia into. Zambia is quickly losing its cherished democratic and peaceful credentials and status by his acrimonious and repressive actions. President Hichilema swore to defend the Constitution, the rule of law, and the practice of human rights. These actions will harm international investments, will result in Zambia being isolated as a pariah state. His actions are clearly betraying the achievements made by our forefathers and foremothers, are a danger to Zambia's democratic state, and justify why Zambians need to change the leadership of the country in the 2026 elections. Yes. Yeah. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema must go. Yes. Yes. He has clearly failed to maintain the democratic encirclement that made it possible for him to ascend to the presidency. The way he is treating us in the opposition, if it is the way he was being treated himself by the former government or the former regime, would he honestly have ascended to power? No. Where he is the only one dancing and he says, I'm the best dancer. Allow others to dance as well, so that people can compare. We just can't be listening to your tune. It is wrong. So his clear dictatorial tendencies present him as a clear and present danger to the Constitution he swore an oath to protect. 4. Citizens faced preparations for the 2026 general elections. we wish to inform the nation that our preparations to participate in the 2026 general elections are advancing. We recently, because others thought we were joking. We are not joking, we are very serious. We recently issued public advertisements to invite candidates that wish to participate in the leadership of our country through the upcoming elections to apply as aspirants for the offices of Member of Parliament, City Mayor, Council Chairperson, and Councillors. The exercise is going well. We, however, wish to make a clarion call that the doors to our party remain open. To all those disadvantaged by current repressive methods by the state, Citizens First is your home. We have been there before, where we are victims of state oppression and manipulation. We therefore understand the pain and the personal injury suffered when rights and freedoms to freely participate and share in the running of our country are brutally being taken away. Please, you are welcome to the Citizens First. Come home. Iseni muchintelelwe. Thank you, guys. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you so much. So we are appealing to our colleagues who are being frustrated by the state. Those who can't express their rights freely to belong to an organization they have chosen. Please come to the Citizens First. Let's work together. It's now or never. You are very welcome. We also make a special appeal to those leaders being victimized in the ruling party. We know that there are also leaders in the ruling party who are being victimized. Yesterday, I came across a report from a pro-UPND media house on social media, which was saying 98% of the UPND MPs will not win the elections this year. Now, that is a UPND media house saying 98%. Number if it's 98% MPs tabaka win. Ngaena. Their voices are even more silent as they fear expulsion, those colleagues in the UPND, and the state harassment if they spoke out against the injustice. It's just a matter of months now before we get rid of the UPND. So please, we'll be reaching out to you. I'll personally be calling you to have conversations with me and everybody in our party. Let's do this for the country. Don't allow one dictator to suppress your views and your rights. This is your opportunity. You too are welcome. To my fellow leaders in the opposition, we are committed to forge hands, to work together, to unite to help the cause of change that our people desire. Atira twende babidi. Temwenso. And then working together is not a sign of weakness, but it's a desire to go far. Our hand is stretched, and our call is noble. Come and join, and together, let's stop dictatorship in its track. I really want to buttress this point to our colleagues in the opposition, because there's been this notion. No, the citizens first, especially Kalaba, Kalaba kwata egwe aivela hala yumfwa is pompous. Kwati, no, colleagues. That's why we have said we are available to work together. Very available to work together. And if the people of Zambia will say Kalaba is not the person to lead, it is you to lead, we will allow you the opportunity to lead. Because what we want is a Zambia that is progressive. What we want is a Zambia where you and I will not be subjected to cyber laws. And we have to stop that. So let us hold hands. And I want to tell you that as a result of that, we are going out ourselves to reach out. We have a scheduled meeting this afternoon. We'll be meeting my brother Makebi Zulu so that we see how we can hold hands and forge hands and see how we can go forward. So don't listen to those telling you, no, Harry Kalaba is not willing to reach out. Harry Kalaba is selfish. Harry Kalaba, no. Those are enemies of democracy. Those are enemies of progress. Those are people who don't want us to thrive and to make progress. Don't listen to them. To the church, we wish to make a special appeal to the leadership of the different religious bodies and churches to continue to speak for the nation, to speak against the oppression, the harassment, the arrests, and unfair jailing of political opponents. It is sad, I always talk about this, it is sad to see colleagues jailed. Unfairly so. There's nothing wrong with being jailed if you've done something wrong. But it pains to see a person who shall go to chefi into. Bamubika mwili ashitotela. Bamubika mwili asijinixon chilango. Bamubika, it doesn't work right. It doesn't, that's not the way it should be. These are things that we need to deal with. I mean, let's differ politically, but let's not abuse the law to disadvantage our political opponents. It's not the way it should go. Further, the church and all religious organizations must continue to pray for the well-being of our country during this sensitive period. The happenings in our country points to the fact that the nation is at a crossroad, a critical juncture that requires our people to make defining decisions to secure a safe, peaceful, future and prosperous nation. We are on a journey, marching towards Zambia's second independence, and the citizens' first is ahead of the spear to spur the change that the nation so desperately needs. 6, a call to the youths and students. Stand up and be counted. Your future is too valuable to be traded for a bowl of soup or a few coins. Do not sell your destiny and that of your country for short-term gain while your parents and families continue to wallow in poverty. You are the largest, most energetic, educated, and most powerful segment of this nation. Your voice matters. Yes. Your voice matters. Your choices matter. And your vote is your greatest asset for change. Use it wisely. You have seen the current trajectory. It does not inspire hope. It has limited opportunity, taken away your sense of freedom, and created an environment of fear at a time when you should be engaging, innovating, and interacting freely like your peers across the continent. This is not the future you deserve. It is certainly not the future you envisaged when you woke up as early as 04 a.m. in 2021 to exercise your democratic rights. Some youths who are waking up as early as 02. 5 years later, you can evaluate yourselves and see what they have done. Kuwawaya. There you go. So refuse to be used. Refuse to be silenced. Refuse to be bought. And make a resolve to put an end to this experiment. This UPND has been a very costly experiment for our country. And we must avoid costly experiments going forward. So stand up, speak out, and be counted. Let your vote be a declaration that you choose dignity over dependence, opportunity over oppression, and a better Zambia over broken promises. The power to liberate yourselves and your country is in your hands. Use it through the ballot. Finally, when they come to you shouting at Soti Sana, remind them that you are sick and tired of rhetoric. The Bali who promised to fix the economy is today asking you to be eating uwali na Soti Sana. When he promised you T-bone and sausage, tell them, imwe mulina CF, which will give us T-bone, sausage, chicken, and when things are hard, we'll eat vegetables because they are healthy, not salt, which is a total sign of failure. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our citizens. God bless our country. May God bless Zambia. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. At this point, we are going to allow 2 or 3 questions from the media so that the President can take them as we proceed.
If they have
any questions from the media? Yes, please. Please tell us your name and where you're coming from.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, dear.
Identified as Makebi, and I represent a media house called Kumweso. Apparently, I've got 2 questions. I don't know if you'll be allowed me to ask them. Okay, question number 1. ZDA, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, they announced that they have opened up the multi-facility zones to foreign nationals to invest, and they'll be given a good 10 years without tax. And in that regard, we're looking at our economy, which is currently not doing well, and we need medical and other facilities to boost this country. In your view, how would this help our citizens or this country if we are allowing outside countries to come and gain whatever they want to gain from here without being taxed? And then number two, there is a story that was quoted in Diggers where the president said Bill 7 is a win for them for the August elections. What's your message to the opposition? Bill 7, they already declared that they have won. Where are you standing? Thank you.
Okay, we'll take question 2 there. Please tell us your name and the organization you're representing.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Mishek Bungeri Rongo. One and the Digest newspaper. I've got 2 questions as well. Mr. President, there was a declaration that Zambia will start operating under a 24 hours economy. What's your take on that one? And then the second one is CF, being part of the opposition, claims that the oppositions are fragmented. In reference to that, what chances does the fragmented opposition have to unseat the ruling party, which is advantaged by having a government machinery? Thank you.
Okay, at this point I'll allow the president to take the 2 questions. Or we can
Thank you very much. Colleagues, you can be seated, please. Thank you very much, my colleague from Kumwesu. The announcement by government or the Zambia Development Agency that they have opened up our multi-facility economic zones to allow foreign nationals to operate without being taxed for a period of 10 years is very retrogressive. This is what we've been speaking about as Citizens First every time. We've been saying this government is very good at giving incentives to outsiders, to foreigners. They take pleasure in that. But they have failed to give incentives to the local businessmen and women in this country. Even today, as you and I are speaking, when you go to the mining sector, government has reduced the mineral royalty tax from 6 to 3%, again to favor the outsiders. Government has given tax holidays to outsiders for 5 years. Again, they go ahead and say another 10 years. So these colleagues of ours in government are a problem. They will not understand that unless you empower your own locals, you will never see real development. What we need right now is to focus on what we are saying as Citizens First. We have said, and I want to repeat, we have said that when we come into government, we are going to allow contracts of $20 million and below. Will allow those contracts to be exclusively for Zambian businessmen and women. No foreigner will be allowed to compete for any tender that will be $20 million and below. And if you are a local entrepreneur and you choose to be used as a front by a foreign company, and the government discovers that you are being used as a front, both you who have been used and the same foreigner whom we have allowed to use you will have to face the consequences of the law, because that will be deemed as economic sabotage. This is how a country empowers its citizens. Not what they are doing. 62 years after independence this year, Zambia has failed to produce a billionaire. How can you produce a billionaire when you are giving incentives to outsiders every time? When are you going to give incentives to taxi drivers? Kuma Yango drivers. When will you give them incentives? That lady who is selling Mu City Market, so that you can encourage people to go back in the market, markets, you give them incentives. When will you do that? For bus drivers? When will you do that? But, yeah. They are so interested in giving incentives to outsiders, not their own people. And they are busy saying, soti sana, soti sana. Ukupela ma foreigners are more interest than your own people. Eh, soti sana. Ichochi velesh. The president said Bill 7, I think was it Nakonde there where he was? Well, when he said Bill 7, if Parliament did not pass Bill 7, it would have been very difficult for the UPND to win this year's elections. And I think in my statement, I alluded to a lot of factors that point to the fact that Bill 7 now, which is law, was very discriminatory in nature. And that is why President Chilema has never meant well for this country. Whatever he does is about himself. Okay, let me ask a simple question. Why is the president so hell-bent on winning these elections? And yet he's not telling us. He is not telling us why he should win these elections. He's telling you and I he must win these elections, but he's not telling us why he must win these elections. So, the truth here is, Mr. Ichilema's time in State House or in government is up. And we are urging citizens out there to carry out their civic duty on the 13th of August and boot him out so that he can know. He's not the first one to have been president with him in Ngalato. UNIP was there which ruled for 27 years. They are even sharper Mingalatos than himself. The people kicked UNIP out. MMD came. Mighty MMD, 20 years in government. With serious Mingalatos, Avena Chiluba, they knew Mingalato. They're the ones who were writing books. But when the people decided the time for MMD was up, they kicked them out. But PF, they tried to bully their way. They tried Mingalato here and there. The people said no. What about you who has just been there for 5 years? He will face the temerity of the power that lies with the people. And we are going out to campaign. And this now takes me even to the question that Mishek asked, where he was talking about a fragmented opposition and thinking that we are going to remain fragmented. Because remaining fragmented is not in the interest of the opposition. And my colleagues in CF, if we sit here cheating ourselves, no, we can do it by ourselves, we are going to defeat Akainde by ourselves, we are lying to ourselves. We have to swallow the hard pill of knowing that we have to reach out to others. And be ready to sit on the table with other opposition leaders. And for CF, we have decided. And from where I sit, we have decided. We are going to go in this election united with other colleagues in the opposition. So if they were counting on opposition being fragmented and selling their cheap product of disunity every time to us in the opposition, our harassment, our intimidation, our being disadvantaged is now a source of unity for us. That is the ground they have given us to say we shouldn't allow these guys to go ahead. Because if they win, and for me as Harry Kalaba, I want to say this publicly, I want to reiterate this fact that if it means another person leading and not Kalaba leading, because that person is going to win us the elections to dislodge these guys, so be it. What we want is progress. Thank you very much, choir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. No, I just thought I should make emphasis on this point. Those who keep telling us that no, you are doing well on your own, they don't mean well. No, don't join others because they're just going to disadvantage you, they're just going to denten you. They don't mean well. We need others. If we want to go far, we need to hold hands with other colleagues. Yes, the CF can manage to go it alone. We are very capable of going it alone. But now is not the time for that. Now is the time for holding hands and making progress for our country. "24 hours economy." Mishek, this is a BID. Yes, 24-hour economy is a BID because how can you even talk about a 24-hour economy? I know last time when I talked about it, people wrote against Kalaba, no, he's against. But for me, I want to tell you what is supposed to be told. Sometimes reality will be very harsh to swallow. But I want to tell you that a 24-hour economy for a country like Zambia, which is even failing to pay farmers on time, is a dream. Kwangala. A 24-hour economy, when you're talking about load shedding, my jokes. A 24-hour economy, you are failing to even give them allowances when you send them on special missions. And then you are expecting them now to work more hours. Where would the money come from to give them from 01, 02, 03, 04? 24-hour economy. Today when you go to a police station, at your own house, the police will ask you for a vehicle. If you are lucky, they will say, okay, motor go po idi, master fuel. Talk time. Hello, lunch tapadi. Now, how can you talk about a 24-hour economy when the police don't even have transport? They don't even have... I think the UPND... Now, when we say these things, people say, no, we have to start from somewhere. This is the same UPND which told you and myself standing here that when they come into government, they will make sure that ubunga buka chipa. They will make sure that dollar ikabuela. They will make sure that fuel ikabuela. They told you that fertilizer will be cheaper. These things have not happened. We in the CF are realists. And we are only saying when we come into government, we'll put a high premium on our farmers. We want to make sure that we invest and be in line with the Maputo Declaration that requires SADC member states to spend 17% of their national budgets on agriculture. Today, we are only spending about 7-8% on agriculture, and we're talking about 24-hour economy. We are joking. This will not happen. I'm not a prophet. I am not related to any. But we have a prophet here. Prophet Max. It's not going to happen. So I can tell you, Mishek, that this is what comes from leaders that have got no vision. This is what happens when a leader has failed. This is what happens when a leader is about to leave power. And they will leave power in August. Come rain, come sunshine. Thank you very much.